Ever wondered why most New Year's resolutions fail? We often attribute these failures to a lack of motivation, but what if I told you motivation isn't the key? Instead, it's about action, about taking that first leap, no matter how small. In our pursuit of success, we often overlook the power of immediate action. It's not the grand plans, but the small steps that truly make a difference. Well, let's dive into a technique that might just change your life. Meet Mel Robbins, a renowned author and motivational speaker who shook the world with her 5-second rule. Raised in North Muskegon, Michigan, Mel Robbins was no stranger to struggle. Early in life, she battled anxiety, self-doubt, and the crushing weight of financial ruin. But amidst the storm, she found a beacon, a simple yet powerful tool that would not only pull her from the depths, but also inspire millions around the globe. This tool, now known as the 5-second rule, was born out of necessity. One morning, as she lay in bed, paralyzed by dread and indecision, Mel decided to launch herself out of bed like a rocket ship. She started to count backwards from 5, and by the time she reached 1, she was out of bed and moving. It was a small step, but a significant one. The 5-second rule is more than just a morning routine. It is a metacognition technique that helps to disrupt the habit loop, which often leads us into procrastination and inaction. By counting backwards, you distract your mind, shifting the gears from the autopilot mode of worry and overthinking to a state of action. Mel's rule is not just about getting out of bed. It can be applied to any situation where you need to push beyond your comfort zone. Whether it's speaking up in a meeting, starting a tough conversation, going to the gym, or even pursuing a dream, the 5-second rule acts as a launching pad, propelling you into action. What's beautiful about this rule is its simplicity. There's no grand philosophy, no elaborate rituals, just a countdown to blast off. As Mel often says, you are one decision away from a completely different life. Sounds simple, right? But there's more to the 5-second rule than meets the eye. Now you might be wondering, how can a simple countdown make such a difference? Well, the beauty of the 5-second rule lies in its simplicity. It's a rule that's as easy to understand as it is to practice, but its power comes from the way it interacts with our brain's natural tendencies. Our brains have been hardwired over thousands of years of human evolution to avoid discomfort. It's a survival mechanism, meant to keep us safe from potential threats and dangers. But in our modern world, this instinct often translates into procrastination. We put off tasks that seem difficult, uncomfortable, or daunting, not because they pose a real threat, but because our brains are wired to avoid discomfort. The 5-second rule overrides this instinct. It's a form of metacognition, or thinking about thinking. When we count down from 5, we're actively engaging our prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain responsible for decision-making and self-control. This interrupts the habit loop that our brain falls into when it wants to avoid discomfort, giving us a window to act. Take a moment to think about a task you've been putting off. It could be anything: starting a new workout routine, writing a report, or maybe just getting out of bed in the morning. The thought of doing this task probably triggers a feeling of discomfort in your brain. Your brain's natural response is to put off the task, to seek out something more comfortable. Now imagine using the 5-second rule. You feel the discomfort, the urge to procrastinate, but instead of giving in, you start counting down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. By the time you reach 1, you've interrupted your brain's habit loop. You've given yourself a window of opportunity to act, to override your brain's instinct to avoid discomfort. And here's the best part. The more you use the 5-second rule, the more effective it becomes. Each time you use it, you're strengthening the neural pathways in your brain associated with action and decision-making. It's like building a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. Of course, it's not a magic solution. It won't make the task itself any easier, but it can help you overcome the initial hurdle of getting started, which is often the hardest part. The 5-second rule is a tool. It's a simple, effective way to combat procrastination and take control of your actions. And the great thing is, anyone can use it. You don't need any special skills or abilities. All you need is the willingness to count down from 5 and the courage to act when you reach 1. So the next time you find yourself hesitating, remember the 5-second rule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Don't let your brain's instinct to avoid discomfort hold you back. Embrace the discomfort, take action and see where it leads you. While we're on the subject of extraordinary people, let's talk about David Goggins. David Goggins, a man who has earned the title of the toughest man alive, is a living testament to the power of self-discipline and mental toughness. Born into a life of poverty, prejudice, and physical abuse, Goggins transformed his life through sheer willpower and a relentless work ethic. His philosophy: embrace the suck. Embracing the suck, according to Goggins, is about accepting and leaning into the discomfort, the pain, and the difficulties that come with the path to achievement. It's about understanding that the road to success is paved with obstacles and challenges. And it's about acknowledging that growth and progress don't come from comfort zones, but from the ability to endure, persevere, and rise above adversity. But how does this philosophy align with Mel Robbins' 5-second rule? Well, at the core, both approaches are about taking immediate action. The 5-second rule is a mental trick that propels you into action, while embracing the suck is a mindset that keeps you moving forward, even when the going gets tough. When you're laying in bed and your alarm goes off, you're faced with a choice: to hit the snooze button and stay in the comfort of your warm bed, or to get up and start your day. The 5-second rule pushes you to choose the latter. Now, let's say you're out for a run, your legs are burning, your lungs are gasping for air, and every fiber of your being is screaming for you to stop. That's when Goggins' philosophy kicks in, urging you to embrace the pain, to lean into the discomfort, and to keep going. Goggins once said, "The only thing that changes you is discomfort." It's a powerful statement that encapsulates his approach to motivation. It's not about waiting for the right mood or the right moment. It's about taking action, regardless of how you feel. So whether you're counting down from 5 to blast off your day, or pushing through the pain to reach new heights, remember this: motivation is not something you find, it's something you create. Indeed, to become uncommon, you must first embrace the uncomfortable. The hardest part of any endeavor isn't the journey, but the first step. That's where real grit, real determination kicks in. It's like pushing a boulder uphill. The first push is always the hardest, but once you've got it moving, every subsequent push becomes easier. This is the concept of momentum, and it's not just for physics. It applies to our lives as well. Imagine your goal as that boulder. At first, it seems insurmountable, but once you start moving, you build up momentum. Each step forward, each small success, fuels your progress, making the next step that much easier. It's a beautiful cycle of achievement that begins with a single, difficult step. But what gives you the strength to take that first step? This is where the wisdom of Friedrich Nietzsche comes into play. Nietzsche, the renowned philosopher, once said, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how." In other words, if you have a powerful enough reason, a compelling enough why, you can endure just about any how. You can push that boulder. You can take that first step. Your why is your fuel, your motivation. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning, what keeps you going when things get tough. It's what makes the impossible possible. With a strong why and the 5-second rule, you're well on your way to overcoming any obstacle. So, is motivation really bullshit? You might think differently now. Mel Robbins' 5-second rule is a testament to the power of action. It's not about waiting for motivation to strike. It's about counting down from 5 and blasting off into action. No overthinking, just doing. Then there's David Goggins, a man who embraced the suck and became extraordinary. His philosophy echoes the sentiment that motivation isn't a prerequisite for action. Rather, it's about persevering, even when things are tough. Lastly, we touched on Nietzsche's wisdom. The why is your purpose, your reason for bearing any how. Once you find your why, the how becomes bearable, even manageable. Taking the first step is the most daunting part, but once you do, it's easier to keep the momentum. So let's stop waiting around for motivation. Remember, it's not about waiting for the perfect moment, it's about taking the moment and making it perfect. We will end with an exercise that is so unbelievably powerful, we mention it in every video. Write it down. You use the 5-second rule and you blast off. Get done what you need to get done, and then when you've completed your task, write it down. Focus on the moment of blast off and how amazing it felt to choose success. Write down how it was when doing your work, tasks, or goals after blasting off. Were you more positive? If you're chest deep in a problem or task, and you feel like giving up and you choose to keep going, do it, you can. Afterward, write down how it felt. Write down every relevant detail and focus on the positive. And finally, write down your why. Write it down every day. Make your goals and look your why in the eye and make the choice to achieve your dreams. You may need 5 seconds to get going. You might need to embrace the suck. And if your why is powerful enough, you can achieve anything. Thank you for watching. I am very grateful you watched this far. Please consider visiting our website and subscribe to our mailing list to stay up to date with what we are up to here at Meaningful Pursuits. Also, please follow us on social media. Links in the description.